Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great morning and thank you all so much for stopping by to hang out and talk about GameStop with me. It's been a tough couple of days giving back the entirety of our gap from the upper band, not only to the lower band, but actually kind of breaking down from that lower band. But, as we stated in the previous videos, there are so many different levels of support in the current area and, we are kind of finding that now on the upper band of the earnings report gap, slicing through it, but ultimately reclaiming it almost immediately and then, kind of retesting it again here. So, there's not a lot to talk about. Currently, just waiting for things to cool off, to exhale so we can, get that next inhale going for a run again. What I'm looking for is a reversal on the 1 hour chart. And now, what I mean when I say that is when our 21 exponential moving average crosses over the 50 exponential moving average. And now you can kind of get a head start on this potentially just based on the price, right? Because obviously these are lagging indicators. They follow the price at different rates, right? The 20 is a little bit faster than the 50, and then, of course, much faster than the 200. So once the price is above, the EMAs are going to track up just like the price is below, and they're tracking down, right? So looking for the price to break the 21 like we did here, but ultimately we rejected the 50. We want to reclaim them both, at which point the EMAs will cross. And now that's the reversal signal I'm looking for, but it doesn't end there because we need to pair that signal with a key level breakout. And now I'm looking at this order block right here. By golly, if we could invalidate this order block, we've got ourselves now a bullish breaker block. And, we've all seen that play out a couple times already on the channel, which is nice. So beginning to be familiar with that. If you're not, the order block should reject. If it does invalidate, that means the price goes through it. Of course, we can come back, retest it, activating the breaker block, converting it, and that's going to act as some support for us. And then maybe that cements our reversal, and then we can go on with our lives from there. So yeah, this is our 1 hour chart here. Nothing really going on here. We set this bearish order block the other day, and we've just been retracing down. I'm looking at these wicks, these lower wick buy-ups, right? So a lot of buyers stepping in within these areas, which is something that we want to see. Obviously, wicks on the bottom is indicative of strength, on top weakness or indecision, right? The 1 hour just kind of chilling, and all of our time frames are pretty similar here, right? The 15-minute is basically the same, a little bit choppier, right? And you can see just how quickly we're reclaiming that earnings gap. And, we killed earnings, right? So it doesn't make sense considering the market is up another, 6% or something since our earnings, that we would be at the same point considering, we're blowing out, the expectations of that report. So moving forward, I think, this is a fantastic risk reward area. If you are looking to add in, if you scaled out earlier, or you just have some spare funds kicking around from the monthly paycheck, right? I love this area to be adding. Of course, as we zoom out on this, I'll go to the 4 hour here. There's potentially a little bit more room to the downside, right? Both with our sell side liquidity and our lower trend. However, I just find it to be unlikely that we get here considering how good the earnings report was, right? So not out of the realm of possibility, just unlikely. And because of that, I find it to be a very good time to start averaging in if you need to, right? With that being said, we'll take a look at the 1 day here as well. There's not much going on. We're talking about the breaker block we want to form on I think it was the 15-minute or the 1 hour. We have that here, right? So this used to be a bearish order block. Then we invalidated it and then activated it here, right? And then we expanded outwards, which is really nice. So was it the 1 hour? No, yeah, it was the 1 hour. Okay, so we have that here, right? So we want price to rip through this level and then come back into it, and then we'll go from that. So it would look something like this, right? Maybe down a little bit more, where we kind of go through it, come back into it, and then, clear for liftoff. But a lot of this is going to have to play out in the coming days and weeks because it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow unless there is, of course, a volume anomaly, an influx of volume. Our 30-day average is pretty high, and we're kind of chilling around that 10 million volume a day, which is almost double as what it used to be. Like we used to hover around 5, right? So that's okay. It's definitely not 20 or 50 yet where we're looking at a volume event taking place. So yeah, just chilling out. And then on the 1 day, actually, I think I have that here. All the support, right? We've got the breaker block as support. We've got the earnings gap as support here. So I find it unlikely that we do break down further. And it doesn't mean we don't consolidate here, right? We could consolidate here, bounce up and down for some time, right? And that's where we're looking for the reversal signal. So this looks pretty bearish, obviously. And the 4-hour is looking even worse, right? But the 1 hour is showing signs of bottoming out. And I think the 15 minutes going to be a little too choppy for us, right? Where we had a false reversal already, but rejecting the 200. So I guess we could use the 15-minute if we're pairing it with a 200 breakout, right? If we have the 15-minute reversal and then our key level would be the 200, at which point we're like, okay, are things starting to reverse? Now let's look at the 1 hour, at which point this should start to curl up, and it's the same thing as we move out on our time frames, right? Aside from that, we can check out Kitty, where it's more of the same. We have basically broken down, but are also at the same time kind of holding that 50 moving average, right? The simple moving average here. I use exponential. Exponentials are faster than simples. Could give you false sets, but it is what it is. And this RSI trend, I guess, has broken down already. Maybe getting a little too excited on that. I would say a confirmed break almost. So I don't know. We're going to keep an eye on it. At some point, it's going to reverse, and maybe we can draw some trend lines for that retest, right? Because we're going to break up, and then it's going to retest, and we want the retest to hold the trend, right? Momentum continuing to slow down from its down, a descent. So kind of converging in on itself again. We'd like it to cross over and swing in a bullish fashion. Right now, we're still bearish, unfortunately, but it is slowing down, which is good. And then, I love to look at this maybe from the 4 hours a little easier. And then, it's loading. I like to also go to the bottom trend line with GameStop's price. Wherever you get that, it doesn't matter. There's so many of them. There it is. So we'll just kind of line the start of the chart up there with GameStop's price on the lower band, and you see how GameStop is basically right where it needs to be considering where the market's at, right? So when you do this comparison, just base it off of GameStop's bottom trend line because that's going to change, right? If you go off GameStop's peak, then GameStop's undervalued, right? So I do think using that bottom trend line is a good spot to do this comparison. OBV starting to fall off, unfortunately, and really just as far as the Kitty indicators go, waiting for this PMO reversal, and then we can kind of look at it on the 1 day again and try to get this to reverse backwards, right? So nothing super exciting. We're just kind of chilling out here. The options chain had some of these puts evaporate. We were at 460,000 $5 puts at one point. We're down to 200K, so those are shedding off. Let's see how that affects us in the T35, T69, I guess. And then we also see some of them, quite a few of them, about 35,000 of them on January, a year earlier, right? So the options chain as a whole has been much more bullish. Our put-to-call ratio is at 0.53. It was 0.7 the other day, looking really bad post-dividend. So now And again, as expected, the spreads were really, really bad. The liquidity was awful. And we kind of forecasted that, right? So moving forward, I think that that's going to start to self-correct. And it is unfortunate that we got hammered down with the hedge of the bondholders to stay neutral there. And I think that's what all these puts are about, right? They are being shed off already, so maybe there's a bit of an arbitrage play there we can look out for as we rebound, which is nice. Aside from that, our volume was 12 million, and the warrant volume was over 12 million. If you're on TradingView, open anyway, we can go GME/W and to get our warrants, and then just 4 hour, I guess, or even 15 minutes. I don't know. They've not been trading long on TradingView, right? They just listed it. However, you can see them now, which is great. And finding hard support, I feel like at 3. I thought 375 was really holding us the other day, but we just got shredded down. So on my broker Quest Trade, I've got a high of 575. This has got a high of 385. So it's going to differ depending on the data that you have. Again, I don't think the warrants are necessarily looking or worth looking at until we clear $32 strike or GameStop lowers the strike price, because that was in the filing there that they're allowed to lower the strike if they want. So just chilling, right? Short interest is up. Utilization is up to support that, right? I guess forecasting the dilution, right? So they're getting a head start on that, pre-baking it in. The new Buck the Bunny PlayStation controller looks really cool. Pick one of those up. I'll be super jealous. And some tinfoil for you today. The XRT cost to borrow hasn't updated since the warrant release, which is kind of crazy. This has not updated in some time. So we'll see. Or maybe just updating today finally? Anyways, I seen someone talking about this. I didn't really dig into it at all. Typically, I just follow GameStop. I know a lot of people are in the XRT big time for the GameStop swaps, but that's a lot. And then moving forward, I'm going to throw this link in there for you guys. I was just so bored recently, right? So what better thing to do than read a 1,000-page tome? A tome. Woo! I mean, options as a strategic investment, pick it up in a hard copy as I have here if you can afford it. That's quite a few Benjamins. But if not, don't worry. We live on the internet and knowledge is always available. So just download it as a PDF and give it a read. And there's some chapters that I recommend. Chapter 25. And, this thing it's got it all, right? And this, you need nothing else, I assure you. So a lot of people are interested in options. That's obviously how Kitty accumulated his mass amount of wealth, and all of that information lies A, within his stream and his lives, and B, within this book as the technicals and actual definitions. So give it a read. Start at the beginning if you want. This is probably not going to load because my internet's slow, but the definitions of everything, just so you understand what an options contract is, what all the different Greeks are and mean, right? And how they affect the contract. And then the different kinds of strategies that you can use, obviously. And, it'll keep you busy. You don't have to go through everything. Obviously, you don't need to know about some of the more advanced strategies. There's no need to be doing iron condors right now, or there's a lot of aggressive stuff here. But you could read, the chapter about leaps, maybe the chapter about covered calls, long calls, right? Get into the math behind it, the Black-Scholes models, expected return. Some of these things are helpful to know. Doesn't mean you have to read the whole book, right? But get into it. There's definitely some helpful chapters there. And we could even do some study guides, which I also have, right? This one's a little bit shorter. Just as a knowledge test for everybody, and we'll have some fun with it, right? So check it out. Link is in the pinned comics. I'm not allowed to post it in the description yet. We don't have enough subscribers. And on that note, maybe subscribe to the channel. Leave a like, drop a comment. But most importantly, have an absolute magical day. I know I will. Battlefield 6 has just dropped, And I told myself, you got to film this video, HEG, before you go play. And it looks like it's not quite out yet, so we're done just in time. Thanks for watching. Have a magical day, and I'll see you soon in the next.